Welcome to Two Side Outdoors, your hunting, camping, fishing, survival techniques, and everything outdoors. Enjoy the podcast. Hey guys, welcome to another episode. So, this one's going to be a little bit different from, I guess, a lot of my other ones. Going to do a little bit of a gear talk, I guess you can say. Just talk about whatever gear I currently use. And yeah, here we go. So I don't know if you heard like my previous episode, just with it was a little housekeeping update that I was talking about the recent flathead catfish that I caught. So with catching that fish, I actually used that on, or caught that on a rod and reel that actually had found at the river. It was actually stuck in like the weeds and everything, and looked like it had been there for a while. And it was actually kind of a little bit of a mission just to get that thing out of the water. I ended up like my boots that I had I soaked them. They were filled with water. But I can say it was worth it because once I cleaned up that reel and rod, took it apart and everything, re-greased all the gears and bearings and stuff. It's a pretty nice rod and reel. So that reel, it's a bait caster. It's a Daiwa Sea-Line 27H. From what I can tell, I've never used a Daiwa bait caster before. This one's pretty awesome for it being kind of weathered and whatnot and just left out there, and it works pretty well. I caught that fish off of it, and it works. I ended up breaking my rod, though, that I had it set up on. And I think that was more my mistake, just because I grabbed it in the middle, and then when I lifted the fish, it moved and snapped right in half. So that was kind of my fault, and it was just, one of those... Yeah, one of those moments. Yeah. So that reel, I like it. It's a pretty good reel. It works. What did I have on it? I think I had 50-pound test on it. Some Power Pro braid, moss green. I ended up getting that one switched out recently from my buddy Joseph Lugo. He switched it out for me, put some, I believe it's Reaction Tackle braid, 65-pound, and he put orange. So it looks pretty cool now. And that rod, honestly, it's a no name. I have no info on it whatsoever. It's the rod that I found it with. I had put it on a different rod, which was I think a Berkley Fusion, and that was the one that broke on me. But this other one seems to be fine, even though it is missing one of the little eyelets near the top. Not the top one, but the one right below. And other than that, it works fine. No issues with it. And then what I have set up on it is a Demon Dragon peg float with, I think I have a bank sinker, a 2.5 ounce bank sinker, and some Whisker Seeker, I believe 6/0 hooks. I have it set up with like a stinger hook, and then a 3-way swivel holding all that stuff together. And then I believe there's a Versa rattle and like a couple beads right above that. So just to get that extra noise basically down there. And then also at the top, I have a Whisker Seeker nightsticks, the little LED rod tips. Those things are pretty awesome, especially if you're in just total darkness. You can see that rod tip just go down when something takes it. And then one of my other rods is it's an Ugly Stick camo, a 7-foot medium heavy, and that one I have it set up with, this is just a Walmart rod, with the Shakespeare 20 series conventional bait caster. That one I haven't used yet. And that one's set up with some, what is it? I think it's Reaction Tackle Braid 65 red braid. That thing looks pretty awesome like that. The camo and the red. And then tackle wise, I believe it has a Demon Dragon as well. It's the Muddy River edition. And I think the other one too as well that I have set up. It's a Muddy River edition. And I think I have that one set up with a 3-way as well. A 2.5 ounce bank sinker. The Whisker Seeker 6 or an 8, I believe. And then I think a Versa-Rattle and another Nightstick. Or the Nightstick's the LED rod tip. So far with that one, I have no idea how it's gonna work. Haven't used it yet. If it's anything like that other one, it should be fine. And then I have my other spinning reel and rod that I've had for probably a little over 10 years now. And that one's another Walmart one. It's a Shakespeare Custom 7-foot medium. So it's not even really rated for half the stuff that I'm doing with it. And it's a Shakespeare Custom Contender spinning reel. I have that one set up with some Power Pro 65 in moss green. And that one, I recently switched it out to 65. I used to have 50 on it, and that 50 that was on it was probably on there for at least the last 7 years or so, or more. Because I remember using it like that in the ocean a few times, and actually pulling stuff off the ocean floor and oceanside. And I'd pull off chunks of like shells and stuff that were, what are they called? I can't give the name of them. What the heck are they called? The little things that are stuck to barnacles. There you go. They're pulling up little barnacle stuff that was stuck off the ocean floor on rocks and stuff like that, and I was pulling it up, so it was pretty cool. And it held. I've caught some decent sized fish with that one. Just there, I've caught, I think it was a guitar fish, like a spiked stingray, or a thorny back stingray, something like that. They're in Oceanside, and it was pretty nice. But yeah, that one, I have that one set up, I believe, with another peg float. It's not even a Demon Dragon. It's just a no-name. A 3-ounce, I think it's a 3-ounce no roll with a little rubber, or the bumper, glow-in-the-dark bumper, and some Whisker Seeker. I think these are 6-aught as well, circle hooks. Just a regular barrel swivel with a little clasp. An LED nightstick as well. And I believe a Versa-Rattle. And yeah, that one, I've had that one for a while. I've used that in the ocean quite a bit. I even think I used that one deep sea fishing a few times. But this other one, it's like I've been using the Daiwa Sea Line. That one, I've just recently been using that a little more just because of the different fish that I've been trying to target out here in Yuma with all these flathead catfish. And me catching my first one just recently, so that was pretty awesome. But I'm hooked now. I'm all set up, ready to go. I got myself 3 rods now that are basically all set up just for that. It's like my whole setup now is just mainly just for catfish. And then I do have a couple other like trout rods or rods and reels that I use for trout. And then I have one regular bait caster that I use for bass. That one, I think it's a Bill Dance Optima rod with Walmart brand Ozark Trail bait caster, because the other one that was on the original, the Bill Dance one, caster that was on there, my release button, the little thumb release thing, broke on me. So I had to switch it out to something else. And then I think my little trout rod and stuff, that one's an ugly stick as well. That one's pretty decent. I've had that one for a while as well. And I think it's a Shakespeare G something. I don't know. Whichever ones that usually come with the ugly sticks. It's spinning. And that one's pretty good. I usually set that one up for, like I said, trout. And I do your basic Carolina rig for trout. And set it up with just some floating bait or a night crawler or even just little salmon eggs. And that's what I used to use with it out there in California. Out here, when they do plant trout in some of the local ponds or lake things, so far all I've had luck is on power bait. And it wasn't even like my usual go-to power bait. It was some nymph purple. And I was surprised they hit off of that, because that was when power bait still made the metal cap containers. That's how old that nymph purple is that I have. And it hit off of that. And that stuff's still good. It's still very pliable. You're able to move it and everything. It's not dried out whatsoever. So that's I was surprised it hit off of that. Because I've had some of these newer ones that are in these plastic containers that they dry out within the first month that you get it. And it's just what the heck? So that's pretty good there. That stuff is like that. I'll give a little round of applause. Oh, whoops, never mind. It's a rim shot. But yeah, it was a little different there with that. And then that other bait caster that I'm going back to, the Bill Dance one. That one I just used just a little, what is it? I think it's a Rapala jig of some sort. And I think I've caught probably some tiny little dinks of a bass, just those 2-3 inchers. I haven't really tried fishing for bass that much. Yeah, I just haven't really tried. I'm always seeing people post about bass and stuff out here, so that they're there. I see them. I just haven't really tried fishing for them that much. Because I've mainly been going for, like I said, catfish, channel cats for a little bit, and I was catching some pretty decent ones. The first one I had caught was in December, I believe, and that was out at Fortuna Pond or Lake, whichever people want to call it. And that was in December, so it was a holdover since they had last stocked, and it was off of because I was trying for trout there at the time. So I caught it on a small little size 10 hook, the little Snell hook, whatever it is, with garlic chartreuse power bait. So I was surprised with that, because I barely hooked him too. So he must have been pretty hungry to want that. And then after that, it was pretty recent. It wasn't until April-ish, somewhere around there, I had decided to go in town and check out some of the canals in town. And I was put onto the Striker punch bait. That how it worked. And that stuff seems to work pretty well for channel cats. I've used just about my whole tub of the little 14-ounce tub of the garlic one that they have, the Bravo garlic. And that one seemed to work really well. Just on a number 3 treble hook. Number 3 and number 4. Dipped it in there, pulled out a big old chunk of it, tossed it in, and I was surprised that they hit it within the first few minutes, and wasn't expecting anything like that. It was just set it up, dipped it, pulled it out, dropped it in, and then within the first 45 minutes, it was just boom. They were taking it down, and I was like, whoa. And caught a nice little, I think it was a 5-pounder, 5 point something. And then right after that, re-dipped the bait, tried it again, pulled out a 6-pounder. I was like, oh dang, okay, I'm done. Done for the day. I caught my fish that I wanted, came home, filleted them up and everything, and then fried them, I think, a day later or so. Man, those were some good eating catfish. That was one thing I can tell you. But yeah, it's pretty awesome catching it off of a bait that I heard about on YouTube. And it was just, I thought it was okay. Yeah, it's one of those gimmick things. Never worked. So I tried it for a while. It wasn't working until the water started warming up, and then it was just like boom, boom each time I used it. And then recently I was given a tub of the gizzard one, the gizzard scent. And that one, same thing. Dip, toss it out. And that was when my family had came out here. And I set my dad up and everything, set it up for him. Tosses out. Excuse me. Tossed it out for him. I'm setting it all up. I'm getting it ready for him, setting his drag. And before I was even done setting his drag, this thing's already going. I was like, what the heck? Here, it was yours. Handed it over to him, and he reeled it in. It was a nice little, I think it was 4 or 5 pounder. And it was pretty awesome that I was able to get him set up and going with a fish when he came out here for the first time for us. Yeah. And yeah, that's about it really with this talk. I know I do have another few podcasts in the works with some of the other 928 guys. Probably another one with Joseph. Well, probably him and another guy. So we're gonna do something pretty soon. I just have to kind of work out the details on when will work for all three of us. And then hopefully my wife can get in on that one. Got to see how that's gonna work. But yeah, that's about it for this one. It was a quick little gear talk episode. So until next time, tight lines and good luck. We'll see you guys.